Ivanka Trump's second book, Women Who Work, Rewriting the Rules for Success, is receiving some harsh criticism from people for being a little out of touch with the average working American woman, which should surprise nobody. So I would like to walk you through some excerpts from her book and comment on them. All right, so she starts in the introduction of Women Who Work, talking about a trip that she took to Patagonia. She describes a hiking excursion, and she said she seriously had to delve deep into herself before deciding if she wanted to join the family business. I had just decided to leave the Brooklyn-based real estate company Forest City Ratner, my first employer and professional home of the previous 12 months, to take the leap and join our family business. Now, when you are taking a leap to join a multi-million-dollar, multi-billion-dollar, whoever you ask, business, I don't know how much of a leap it is. Then she talks about, she goes back in time. She takes us back to when she was graduating college, and she got a call from Anna Wintour, who is arguably the most influential woman in fashion. She says she'd heard I was graduating soon. She knew I liked fashion. She wanted to offer me a job at Vogue. I graciously declined. And so her sentiment here is that she was following her passion of real estate and turning down other opportunities, which also not so in touch there, since she is getting some, the most influential woman in fashion is heard she was graduating, heard it through the grapevine. Then she talks about how hard it is being a working mother, saying, some of my best photos of the kids were taken by my nanny during the day. All right.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh,
it's such
so
a
hard
bummer.
having so many
just
nannies.
Such a bummer.
All right, I'm going to read a few more. Now, this is the one that is getting the most attention right now, where she talks about how she switched into survival mode to join the campaign trail with her father. She goes, I worked and I was with my family. I didn't do much else. Honestly, I wasn't treating myself to a massage or making much time for self-care. I wish I could have awoken early to meditate.
It's just so out of touch.
No, but that's the thing is so many women in America who are doing two jobs or doing however many part-time jobs and just struggling to put food on the table for their family. They're taking their massages, so she's giving inspiration.
That's what it is.
Don't take those massages,
it's
ladies.
Like you don't.
Majority of minimum wage is occupied by women. Majority of minimum wage jobs, specifically women of color, and this book is probably not for them.
Well, in her defense, if she went with Anna Wintour, she could identify for women what color to wear that season.
Yeah, that's true. But look, what's funny is I wrote a joke ahead of time for the.
Do it.
For the.
It's a great start to a joke.
Yeah, I know. It's I wrote a joke ahead of time, I'm doing an open mic right now. No,
What is
damn
it?
You ruined it.
You started
ruined it.
You were the one who don't ever do
look,
that.
it's almost like when she's like, oh God, I spilled wine on my cashmere bathrobe when we were on the campaign trail and I couldn't get it dry cleaned. It's super out of touch.
Yes.
Is that joke written down there?
Yes.
Yes, I did. I wrote that. It was not funny, but it was a good attempt.
But you're right. Everyone, we're all right. This is all right.
It's all ludicrous. I mean, I think she is so clearly out of touch with the average woman. I mean, you can see that through and through with all of her behavior and the way that she talks about how if you follow your passion, you'll find success. That's really not the case for most women in America who are just struggling to make ends meet. I want to read you one of the final quotes that she has in her book, where she's trying to be inspirational, I think. She says, we're training for marathons and learning to code. We're planning adventures with our kids and weekend getaways with our friends. We are defining what it means to be a modern woman who works.
You know who this was
modern
written for?
woman who works in this country.
The audience is important.
No, she wrote this book because, look, she's a New York social elite, okay? She's in that high society of New Yorkers that get together and they have power brunches and they have, happy hour drinks at whatever fancy establishment that they're at. And Anna Wintour is a part of that club, and just like a lot of these other establishment journalists are. So they look up to celebrities like Ivanka, right? And that's part of the reason why the media is always promoting this weird message that, Ivanka is the closeted liberal in Donald Trump's ear. She has so much influence. Are you talking about the John Oliver
Did you see
segment?
that? That's an amazing
I
segment.
wrote like a very identical one that I couldn't release it now because John Oliver
same.
did it
Well,
before me.
it's true. It's very true, and you're on to something then where it's like, why the hell do we like Ivanka? Maybe it's this weird, hopeful idea that there is some reason, and our inability to believe deep down that there's no hope in that room. But there is no evidence that she has ever been on anyone's side but her own.
Well, I think that this is sort of that moment for a lot of women who are looking at this woman who is a businesswoman, who we are hoping will advance some sort of feminist agenda while in the White House, and to be so removed and to not be a part of intersectional feminism and have no concept of how privileged you are is just sort of really
She's a white feminist.
making that very concrete.
What's intersectional feminism mean?
It's making sure that you include all women of color and you include all different socioeconomic backgrounds in your discussion of feminism. So even the highly quoted quote about how much you make to the dollar, like the average woman makes 80 cents to the dollar, even that is sort of being a white feminist statement because
Womenist, we should call it.
Really good.
Women of color make even less. So the average black woman makes 56 cents to the average male dollar. So
that sucks.
But you guys,
and there's a way that she can write a book. Like, I'm not saying that just because she's Ivanka Trump and Donald's her dad, she can't write a book that reaches out to everyone.
Her daddy.
This just doesn't seem to be the way to do it. And complaining like, oh, I'm spending too much time with, away from my kids. That's one thing because I'm working.
Yeah.
It's my nanny, not getting massages. Come on.
Yeah,
and look, there's a way
reality.
this book could have been interesting as well if she talked about how weird her dad was when she was growing up and why he consistently sexualizes her on national television as if that's normal.
I'm actually writing a book about it.
Whether
myself.
she actually did say, this is an insensitive thing I'm about to say, whether she actually did quote, and I quote Ivanka here, allegedly, mulatto penis. I'd like to try that. Like, I would want to know if she's, I want to know the real Ivanka Trump, not the fake one that constantly gives these very political answers to all of these questions without really answering whether or not she is a liberal or a conservative. And the other thing is, she is a fascinating individual, and fascinating individuals write books all the time. But she's a fascinating individual that was trying to, this was an attempt where she was like, we're working women, we're all in this together, and she did it in a really,
I think your last point is important, right? I think she could have approached this. I don't think that we should be like, oh no, you can't write a book because you've had all this privilege. I think she had an opportunity and where she could have written a book that recognized her privilege and then spoke about how she used that privilege and used the finances that she had available to then advance her career to a different level in the ways that she did so with a little bit more humility and a little bit more recognition of the circumstances that most women in America have to endure to really just put food on their family's table.
Our reporter Jordan Chatton broke the Donna Brazile story. He was right, she just apologized for it. Help us get more reporters like that. You're the one responsible for that. Thank you, and let's do more right now at tytnetwork.com/go.